t-shirts too tight to insert their tribal tack crap arms. I'm a revert, bark at a zebra. Now I feed a fetus to vegans. If your girl's a fat mocker, the only way to stop her is to take away a chocolate and pop her. Copulate, take poppers, be proper late, repopulate the world with topless models to waddle. Check the time or clock your watch or watch the clock. It's lyrical light speed where time stops. Shit, where are my mates now? I should have joined AA, not breakdown. Did you get it? Yeah, I got it.
Hello friends, let me welcome you to one of the best motorcycling roads in New South Wales. This is the Old Pacific Highway, ye Olde Pacific Highway, as you might call it. I thought I might do a slightly unorthodox video today. This is going to be a unedited, raw, if you like, video of basically the road and the different corners, some good bits, some downfalls. And if you're looking at the video length right now and you're like, nigga what? Then you might want to turn it off, or you might want to go watch one of my shorter videos. Can't guarantee the best commentary in this video, so I am going to be riding and just going to be enjoying my Saturday afternoon on the Old Pac. So this road is split up into 3 sections. This is currently the first section of 3, and we're heading north up to Gosford. And what I might do is put a map, or a screenshot of a map, up on the screen so you can kind of see where this road is. Bing! So that's approximately where it is. A lot of people like this section here because of the road surface. It's probably the most popular section. And that's a good and a bad thing because there's more traffic on this section. But, you know, the road surface is buttery smooth and delicious. So yeah, the sun is setting and we're just going for a bit of a cruise. This is Pie in the Sky, which actually has really nice pies. So you should definitely check them out. You know, this video, who knows, if you're in Sydney, you'll recognize the road most likely. If you're from interstate, maybe this is kind of a tourist guide on what to expect. And if you're overseas, again, maybe you want to come and ride with me one day, and you'll know what to expect from Sydney's greatest roads. But that's up to you. Hopefully the sun doesn't set by the time I get to the end of the road, because that could be an issue. But we should have maybe 20 minutes left of sunlight, and it's about 20 minutes to the entire Old Pacific Highway. I guess it depends how fast you go, right? I'm loving these new brakes. So I got braided brake lines, and also I got EBC sintered brake pads, and you know what, they actually make quite a bit of a difference over the stock Ninja 250 brakes. Definitely a worthwhile upgrade, and it's fairly cheap. I think I got the brake lines for $60 and the brake pads were about 60 for front and rear. If you do it yourself, you can also save a bunch of money. I think I got quoted maybe 100 to do brake lines and brake pads. That's pretty standard, I think. So this corner is a little bit tricky, but actually no, that wasn't the right one. It was the next left-hander, because you could have come off this straight. It's kind of a pseudo straight, and as you take the left-hander, it kind of looks, you know, not too sharp, and you can kind of make it, and then it goes into a sharp left. It's kind of like a double corner, double apex would be the technical term. So this one you're like, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, and then you're like, whoa. So you want to be a bit careful here, because this is a fairly popular turn-off. And if you take that road down there, it goes to Brooklyn, which is kind of like a coastal town. You can kind of see it through there. And this turn-off goes to the jetty. It's like a commercial jetty. Actually, I remember going down there for... This is taking me back a few years, but this was in year 6. So this is end of primary school here in Australia. And basically, every year, that guy had a camera, I think. Was that someone I knew? I don't know. I'll have to check the video back. Maybe it was someone I knew. This is the beautiful views of sunny Hawkesbury River. But in year 6, every year before us, you know, when I was in year 4 and year 5, we had a school excursion which was going to Canberra to sort of learn about the gold rush. Because, you know, there's a big gold rush back in the ye olden days. And every year that they went, they always came back to school and they always were like, oh, so good. And they always used to have these awesome stories, you know. This person kissed this person and this person got cooties and all that sort of stuff. And we were all looking forward to it. So we're in year 5 and we were psyched. So we get to year 6 and at the same time we also get this new principal. And what's this person doing? We get to year 6, we get this new principal. And by the way, this is the start of the second section. So each section is sort of broken up by turns to the freeway. So you saw the freeway was on my left. And each time you get a turn off, that's kind of the start of a new section. This second section is probably my least favorite section of the 3. It sort of starts off a bit slow. You've got to be careful in these corners because there is driveways on the right hand side. So there has been cars coming out of this driveway here. And you just want to cruise for a little bit. Now this corner we can punch it completely within the speed limit, I might add. Never breaking the law. That would be irresponsible. This corner is okay as well. Now this corner, you've got to be a bit careful. You should take a tight exit because there is a T intersection right here. So just in case there's anyone coming out, you should be nice and tight. That's what she said. But what was I talking about? Yeah, so we got this new principal and she was, you know, for all intents and purposes, I think she's a good principal. Obviously, I don't hate her or anything, but, and I might be sort of spoiling the story by saying that, but what happened, right, is she came in and she was really focused on getting the numbers up, because I went to quite a small school, which was amazing, you know, it only had 100 students at the time I went there. So she was very focused on sort of the lower grades, year, you know, kindergarten, year 1, year 2, and her idea was that instead of having all these excursions that were for each year, and instead of sort of what's this guy doing? Just chilling? Fair enough. Instead of keeping it as it was, she decided that the best idea would be to have a school excursion. So the entire school, kindergarten, maybe not kindergarten, but it was like year 1 to year 6. And she thought it would be a mad idea to have that at Milson Island, which was that jetty that I mentioned all the way back there. So we get to year 6, we're promised this Canberra trip for 5 years. When we get to year 6, we're told that, oh, sorry, it's actually cancelled. And everyone in our year was livid. I mean, as livid as how old would I would have been then? maybe like 12, no, it'd be like 11 maybe. And we wrote petitions, we called our parents, we were like all so pissed off. And for the rest of the year in year 6, no one liked her, no one would even acknowledge her in our year. And even the year below us, because they were looking forward to it as well. And she basically just got absolutely disowned by year 5 and 6. And then I assume, you know, people forgot and it went back to normal. But it was one of those real bitter moments in your schooling career that you're just like, oh, it could have been so good. And even now when we sort of meet up, you know, we have meetups every few years just to catch up, because we all sort of live in the same area still. And even now, we're like, oh, remember that teacher? Remember that principal, I should say? Oh yeah, I hate her and she sucks and blah 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 blah. And we're all just sort of joking, of course, but that was one of the bad memories from primary school. Apart from that, I had a really cool primary school. It was one of the best schools I've ever been to. And I've only been to 2, so that doesn't tell you much. But I digress. So we're trucking along. This corner here has a bump in the middle. It is right here. Ow. So I always take that one a little bit slow. I quite like this corner. It's quite nice and sweeping. And this is also a bit of a bumpy corner. Just be a little bit careful. Ooh. If you're not careful, you might neuter yourself by accident. It says a bump as well, right? Yeah, there it is. So the bike feels pretty solid since I've swapped the chain and since I've put in the new brakes. And it was really kind of a joy to ride, especially since I know that I've done it all myself and you're just kind of appreciating your work. Feels good, man. That's the freeway up there. And this is a kind of a straight. This is a 60-kilometre zone, and I have seen police stopped on the left and in the middle of the road here. So you just kind of want to cruise, take it a bit easy. I mean, there's no point in going fast here anyway, because you'd have to be going pretty fast to have any fun anyway. So, apart from my Saturday, how have you guys been? I'm just sort of cruising along. I was just out with my buddy, Ventrilo user. He wanted a shout out actually. I told him I was making a video today. So I'll give him a shout out. If you want to go check out his channel, go and visit www.youtube.com/user/chicken rides to check out Ventrilo user's videos. Go and subscribe, tell him I said hi. And he'll probably never even see this. I doubt he'll watch past the first minute. He's a bit of a slacker, I won't lie. I'm just being slack. So this kind of marks one of the sections. This is where Road Warriors is, and this is a bit of a notorious intersection. You just want to keep an eye out. But this is where Road Warriors is, which is the second cafe on the Old Pacific Highway. First one being the Pie in the Sky. I wouldn't necessarily recommend the food here. I haven't actually had food here for a while, but when I did, it wasn't that great. Pie in the Sky was better. So maybe just get a coffee or something. This corner is, you know, pretty average, but if you're coming in the opposite direction, there's actually quite a few potholes and bumps and weird stuff on the racing line. So you want to be careful. And this is the only real straight of the Old Pacific Highway. You want to be going about 60 here. That's the speed limit. And I have seen police sort of stop on both sides of the road here. So just be careful. This is the end of the straight, and it goes into a sort of a mini straight after this, which I have seen, again, more police. They're usually on the right hand side. I think they're more worried about people coming up than going my way. But you know, it's not that fun to speed here anyway, so I would stay within the limits. Not that I'm condoning not staying within the limits by any means. You ride your own ride. So we've got a bit of twisty section. This is the end of the second section basically. We've got a few more twisties, but for all intents and purposes, that's pretty much it. And then we'll go into the third section, which I'm not sure if it's my favourite. I can't really decide between the can't really decide between the first and the second sections. They're both pretty good. Again, when you're on the straights, just keep it under the speed limit. If there's one piece of advice that I can give you when you're riding on twisty roads, it's that you should be going fast on the corners, slow on the straights. And that's for a number of reasons, and it's not necessarily a piece of safety advice, but as far as I know, and again, I'm not condoning speeding by any means, but it's a lot harder to get, I think, maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's a lot harder to get a radar lock on a motorcycle going around a corner. Obviously, if you're being stupid and endangering lives and crossing the white line and things like that, that's a different story. But anyway, this is the M1, I believe. It used to be called the F3, and then they decided to change it, which is cool. They can do whatever they like. Yeah. These corners, you normally see a sign on the right hand side here which says water on road. It's because it's a bit of a dodgy, bumpy corner, and there's also a lot of water that runs down from the mountains and just soaks this corner, if it's been raining especially. So I normally take this section pretty easy. And then we have a little bit of a straight. Nothing too interesting. You go into short amount of corners. We have a right, and then we have a left and a right, and then a really nice left-hander, which I quite like. This is one of my favourite corners. Just because it's nice and smooth, I guess. And like I said, this was the end of the second section. So we're going to head on to the third and final section of the road. And probably just in time to see the sunset. Probably have 10 or 15 minutes left, I'd say. Come on, buddy. Today being a Saturday, there's not too much traffic, especially motorcycles. Everyone seems to like to come out on a Sunday to do their ride. And that is not necessarily a good thing, because there's a lot of what some people like to call weekend warriors. And, I'm not putting anyone down, but a lot of crashes seem to happen on Sunday as opposed to Saturday. Just because, I don't know, a lot of the bikes come out as well as the Sunday drivers and give it their best. Whereas Saturday is kind of underrated because it's usually pretty clear. There's not really any tourists, there's not that many bikes, and it's just as good. Okay, this corner I'm not a fan of. This is pretty much the first corner of the third section, and I hate it. It's bumpy. If you're coming in the other direction, it's very deceptive because you come into a nice gentle corner and then right at the end it has like a double apex and cuts right in, and it can catch you off guard. There's a video on Mr. Virus Rider's channel of someone actually going wide. I'm pretty sure he put that up. If he didn't, then I guess I spoiled the surprise. But yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one. Same with that corner there, that's actually not signposted. So when I used to come out here back in the day, I actually had my car and I used to come out here at night time doing completely legal speeds. But that was also a tricky corner in the car because it never had a signpost, so you couldn't really tell how fast it was. These are kind of my favourite corners, I think. I mean, these are definitely my favourite corners. I just don't know if this is my favourite section overall. Like, these corners are beautiful. Don't really have to touch the brakes here if you're doing the right speed. But it is nice to know that I have some decent brakes just in case something happens. Not that you're really going to be able to avoid anything if you're coming around the corner like this. But, whatever. Oh crap. Oh, I wasn't expecting that. I didn't have my body position right. I was scraping pegs. It's actually quite hard to get a knee down on a Ninja 250. Maybe you're a lot better than me at riding, and I'm sure you probably are, but I have tried and I've gotten pretty close, especially on the track, but you're just sitting so high up and the peg height is so low because at the end of the day, it's really just a commuter bike. So this corner and this corner are renowned for their moss. So you might see a little bit of green on the road here. It's pretty normal. They generally have a lot more moss than that, especially during winter as well. So again, I always take these corners fairly slow, and I'm also usually riding with other people, so if I'm leading, I'll take that corner extremely slow just so they understand that there could be a hazard there when they come through by themselves. So that's the first bit of traffic that we've seen, really, except for that truck. Thank you for waiting. Yeah, that's the first bit of traffic, and we've been pretty lucky in that they've all sort of turned off as we approached. There's nothing worse than sitting behind like a semi-trailer on this road, especially if it's the last run of the day. But again, I can't emphasize the importance of riding your own ride, especially in a group ride. That was a bad corner. That was a real bad corner. And just as I said it, we encountered some traffic. Oh well. This is nearly at the end of the road anyway, so I'm not too annoyed. These are some nice corners though, as you can see. I'm not sure if he's slowing down for me or for he's just not that confident. I certainly don't want to force him to do anything. Yeah, you know what, we'll just stay here. There's no legal passing opportunities from here on in, so I'm not too fussed. Anyway guys, that might just about do it. If you're still watching, I applaud you. And here's a tip: if you want to put in the comments purple monkey dishwasher, then I know that you've watched all the way to the end, and I will reply to your comment and give you a thumbs up, because I know you're a true fan of the channel. But that was basically the last corner. So with the sun setting and me being stuck behind a green Ford Falcon, I might be off. Thanks for watching this slightly unorthodox and longer video. I'll see you next time. Cheers.